There seems to be some drama in the world of Sean Diddy Combs, as well as a lawyer who was representing one of the people, Lil Rod Jones, who is suing Diddy civilly. His name is Tyrone Blackburn. He is also in a lot of trouble. There seems to be some drama there as well. I will get into all of that today. I'm Lauren Conlin. Welcome to Los Angeles Magazine, your daily pop culture, scandals, and crime news. Let's get into it. So first, this is not exactly dramatic when it comes to Diddy, but I did want to point out that Diddy's lawyers, specifically his appellate lawyer, Alexandra Shapiro, she did file a notice of appeal yesterday, October 20th. I'll pull this up right now. This is the docket, and it is currently 9:40 a.m. on October 21st, 9:40 Eastern. So I don't have the actual appeal that was filed, but it will be filed here, and we will see it eventually. So I don't have that yet, but I expect it to be quite hefty. During the trial, Alexandra Shapiro, she was all over it. She preserved so many objections. We saw her argue Rule 29, and she was incredible. So when you hear that phrase or that term, you get what you pay for. Alexandra Shapiro, in my opinion, definitely seems worth it. So I will keep an eye on that, an eye on, when this appeal is uploaded so we can go over it. Because again, I feel like it's going to be pretty hefty. Also, there was a report on TMZ, and again, this was late last night, October 20th, and this report said that TMZ had spoken to a White House source that said on good authority that Trump was considering commuting Diddy's sentence as soon as this week. Now, I want to be clear that a commutation is not the same as a pardon. With the commutation, your prison sentence could be, severely reduced, or you could just get out of prison, but the conviction still stands. With a pardon, you are completely exonerated. So, with that being said, according to the Daily Mail put out an article and said, oh, no, we spoke to the White House, and the White House says that TMZ is wrong, that this is not the case. This is fake news. They should really wait for us to say something and not run with a fake story. I have not seen, again, as of 9:42 a.m. Eastern, I have not seen the White House put out a specific statement debunking this claim about Diddy. Again, I just saw the Daily Mail article, but in my opinion, what does it really matter if Trump is thinking about it or not? I mean, I'm thinking about, what I'm going to have for lunch. Who cares? If I had to guess, I would probably say that Trump wouldn't he wouldn't commute Diddy's sentence because there's really nothing in it for him. Politically, he would gain nothing. I feel like he would probably catch a lot more heat, if anything. But also, maybe President Trump is thinking, hey, President Trump believes that he was wrongly persecuted. Diddy believes he was wrongly persecuted. Maybe they have more in common than we think. I really don't know, just putting it all out there. But I'll keep an eye out for an actual White House statement because, again, I saw that the White House allegedly debunked this. I just couldn't find a formal statement from the White House. So stay tuned. Now, for some of the really, really crazy drama, and this involves, again, Lil Rod Jones's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn. But this actually pertains to the Fat Joe defamation case and civil suit, not Lil Rod Jones. I just mentioned his name because he is a notable figure right now, and he was one of the first people to file a civil suit against Diddy, obviously, minus Cassie. But Tyrone Blackburn, he represents a hype man, a former Fat Joe hype man, Terrance Dixon. And Terrance Dixon dropped a civil suit with Tyrone Blackburn representing him back in June of 2025 against Fat Joe. It was crazy. It made crazy RICO allegations, trafficking allegations involving Fat Joe and minors. It was intense. And Fat Joe, in turn, countersued Tyrone Blackburn, the attorney, and Terrance Dixon, his former hype man, for defamation. He was not playing around. Also, Rock Nation was named in the civil suit against Fat Joe. That's Jay-Z's company. Rock Nation has filed many motions to get their name off of this lawsuit as well. So it's very intense. It's very messy. And Joe Tacopina is representing Fat Joe, and he and Tyrone Blackburn have really gotten into it publicly. And also, I listened in on a few hearings also with the judge as well. So back in June, Tacopina and Fat Joe, that team was allegedly serving Terrance Dixon and Tyrone Blackburn with a subpoena, and allegedly Tyrone Blackburn mowed down the process server and he was arrested. And this is Kings County. This is in Brooklyn, New York. So this was back in June. Well, fast forward to October 20th, late last night, Tyrone Blackburn was indicted. And this is a big deal because his case got kicked over to a grand jury, and they determined that he should be charged. And the indictment, as of right now, it actually, it remains sealed, but the top charge against him is a felony, and that's recklessly causing serious injury with a weapon. So I am showing that he is due back in court on October 23rd. So I'll keep an eye on that. I might actually go to that hearing. I mean, we'll see. I'm very interested to hear what he has to say. I believe as of right now, he's representing himself, but I reached out to Fat Joe's attorney, Joe Tacopina, late last night to get a statement from him regarding this whole thing. And I will pull it up. I put it on my Twitter, and I have an incoming article for everybody on lamag.com. But let me actually just pull this up. What I'm going to pull up right now is, it's probably going to pop up as Tyrone Blackburn's charges. Yes, there we go. Those are the charges. And let's go back to, okay. Fat Joe attorney Joe Tacopina's full reaction / statement to me regarding the indictment of Tyrone Blackburn. Quote, "He is a guy who hides his extortionate acts behind a law license. Hearing that he was indicted by a grand jury for felony assault is not at all surprising. That, coupled with everything else multiple courts have condemned him for, make it clear that he needs to get help, and I hope he does." End quote. I also wrote an article last week about the status of the defamation case, and the civil suit. And again, if you want to read about drama, go and read that. I mean, the accusations against Tyrone Blackburn from Tacopina and that law firm, I mean, it is pretty interesting. They accuse him of using AI on his legal briefs and making multiple errors, to which Tyrone Blackburn actually admitted to this and said, "Oh no, these errors were previously corrected." And these are other cases. They were just kind of citing this. So anyway, head to lamag.com for articles on Diddy today and about Tyrone Blackburn and the recent indictment. Lastly, because I am on the East Coast, and I'm in New York, I'll give you a quick little update on the NYC mayoral race, because I feel like that is kind of making national news. People do seem pretty interested, but Zohran Mamdani has been the front runner here, with Andrew Cuomo trailing behind him, and then Republican Curtis Sliwa. Well, a new poll came out, and that poll said that if Curtis Sliwa drops out, Cuomo and Mamdani will be closer than most people realize. And, is this just a tactic so Curtis drops out? Some people say, oh, the polls are never right, blah, blah, blah. Well, in my experience, it's really tough for a Republican to win in New York. And the polls do show Curtis trailing behind majorly. So I would say that the polls on Curtis are probably more accurate than not. I just don't see Curtis jumping like 30 points or anything like that. I have read reports that Mamdani's team wants to keep Curtis in the race, obviously, because that'll be a quicker path to victory for him. So we'll see. Me personally, I actually do have personal experience with Curtis. I worked with him at WABC Radio back in 2020, 2021. He is a stubborn guy. I don't see him dropping out. If you want Cuomo to win, clearly it's not great if Sliwa stays, but I just don't think that it's going to be an option for him to drop out. That's just not in his makeup. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow with more pop culture, scandal, and crime news. I'm Lauren Conlin. Thanks again for watching.